Honey, we are back. Next time you see me on these reviews, they will be living together back in Charlotte.
She got that rich girl, LA vibe. She whip it good in her daddy's 95. Rough sex on the bedroom floor. Hop in the shower, she begging for more. Do not disturb on the hotel door. Waking the neighbors. All I want is champagne and sunshine.
I am your girl, Talisa Rae. What's up? How you doing, Ray of Sunshine? We are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 9, Episode number 5, Paradise Lost. Okay, so now that I have a good handle on the couples, I am doing my review couple by couple, okay? And so before we start couple by couple, because they were all together on the catamaran, let's talk about that first. Now, y'all let me know if you're okay with this style and if I need to go back to what we originally did. All 4 couples get together for a catamaran boat ride to a deserted island, very secluded, where it would just be the 4 couples, okay? On the ride over, it is very choppy, very windy. I've been on a catamaran that was hard like that, where the waves are hard. It is hard. I understand both Amber and Liz's anxiety about it, but you know, I like the way Amber carries herself. You know, Liz is fucking over the top all the time. It was nice to see Deanna, though she's reserved, she seemed to be a lot more relaxed this episode. She was actually, if you paid attention, was given signals as to touching him, Greg, because she is now starting to really like him. You know, a touch while you're talking to somebody always is indication of I'm attracted to you, I like you, I'm interested in you, let's move forward. I actually love the way Matt handled Amber. He was very attentive to her needs, very much so understanding, constantly making sure she was okay. And I mean, that's what a husband does. They don't necessarily make fun of you because you're not feeling well on the boat. And we see that Greg really finds Deanna very attractive, that was the least amount of clothes he had ever seen her in that bathing suit. And so he was visibly excited and was very much embarrassed. So he tried to make sure to stay in the water and away from people so that they couldn't see. Listen, he needed to be near his wife so that she would know how attracted he was to her. Eventually, I mean, if they're gonna stick it out, they're gonna have to stick it out, okay? Iris and Keith, they go and explore the island. I love all the accents that Iris does. Keith is very playful. When I watched Liz and Jamie on the hammock, I was like, you know, when you're in a space with somebody for so long, all the time, you're getting to know them, you do become attracted to them, and you get to know them kind of fast. So for them, these first 5 days is allowing them the opportunity to get to know each other in a fast pace. Them being secluded in this romantic environment is really showing you how it is when you first start dating somebody that you like you are in to them. Everything about them you like. You mesh really well. It's that whole puppy dog love phase. You know what I'm saying? Or puppy love, puppy dog, puppy love, whatever. That initial reaction to somebody that you like. And when I was watching them, I was like, that is exactly where they are. They haven't moved past, this is going to be a serious relationship that we have to really, this is something we really gonna need to work on. And it's not gonna be all rose colored glasses, rainbows, flowers, and sunshine all the time. I think that they are probably the most volatile relationship. Okay, let's keep going. We see Keith lost his wedding ring after on day 5 on the beach, and they couldn't find it for 20 minutes. And so I want to just say this. Iris was really freaking out about him losing or misplacing his ring. Do you think she overreacted? Do you think that was a good reaction? You know, he had to tell her, like, calm down. What are you yelling for? Calm down, relax. I feel like he handled her very well. And I feel like because her expectation of marriage and her waiting so long is so high, that she was high strung about it. Like it really meant, you know, like he doesn't care. Well, you know, they were playing around. The ring is too loose. He found it 20 minutes later. Would you guys have had the same reaction? I don't know if I would have. I probably would have been disappointed, and I probably wouldn't have helped him look for the motherfucker, but I don't think I would have had that specific reaction. So on the ride back in the catamaran, it was, the waves were worse, right? And Amber, of course, again, handled herself very well, but then you had fucking psycho Liz. Like, couple things I didn't like. I did not like how he made fun of her situation, but I did not like her response to him either, specifically in front of everybody. You know, I don't know how much that everybody else heard, but because they were with other people and in a certain group, I don't think that that was an appropriate response. You don't know these people. Hell, you don't even know your husband. So be careful. And it just made me feel like, okay, so she's impulsive and quick-tempered. And I mean, I was that at one point, and she might not really be ready for marriage, because it's going to take more than you just being upset quickly and reacting. Take more than just your initial reaction. You're going to actually have to think about someone else and how it makes them feel. And then on top of that, when they docked, she stormed off and left him. And I just thought, you can be mad in public, but you don't have to be like that. Like, we've got to learn to communicate better. Communication, compromise, and commitment. We're going to have to do better. So since we're ending on Liz and Jamie, let's talk about Liz and Jamie. And I'm going to just say right off the top that I was glad to see the next morning her apologize and take accountability for her behavior and how she reacted, as well as him apologizing for his portion in it. I also feel like their relationship is going to be full of apologies and I'm sorries. But I also want to say that he is paying attention to her and now realizes that she's a special breed, and that he's going to bring a good balance to her. Okay? It's day 5. Liz and Jamie are in the bed, and she is super excited and happy about their sexcapades. They had sex at night, and then they had it again in the morning, and it was absolutely amazing. Sex is a huge part of every relationship, but not the only part. Get yourself together. You're going to have to learn how to, you know, kind of coast out a little bit. But if you don't have no kids, I guess not, huh? Y'all can be wild and crazy and temperamental if you want to. Seems toxic to me. She said that he said, "I love you," during sex or last night. Now, I believe you can love someone rather quickly. I don't think you could be in love with someone rather quickly. Then there are also varying degrees, varying levels of love. So he could have been, I love you, but he could have meant, I love the way you make me feel. I love how good the sex is. I love how free you are. It could have been a whole array of I love yous. But later on, he said he loved her out loud. Now, earlier, or sometime, the ladies went out and the fellas went out. And during the ladies' time out, the women asked had anyone had a fight. And Lindsay had decided, you know, I'm not going to share. It's not none of their business. And she went back and she said that to her husband. And he hit the nail on the head with her. He said the reason she didn't want to share was because she's insecure and she's worried about people's perception. So I'm really glad that he understands who she is right on top. So though I think that their relationship is toxic or can be toxic, it looks like he is going to be a good match for her because he has a good handle on who she is. Like, he is good at reading her and her emotions and how she feels. So I was really happy about that. Lastly, I want to say their room was an absolute fucking mess. Like, at the end, maybe that was just because they was packing, right? What y'all think? She's a psycho, a firecracker, over the top, obsessive, about herself, really kind of vain, like impulsive. So I really feel like that might really be how her room looks. I mean, I'm not gonna judge, because my room, I'm not living with nobody, and my room be a mess. Okay, so whatever. Let's go to Deanna and Greg. So the big thing last week was how she asked that he not give her any compliments. I mean, y'all go check the comments. You know, some people agree with me and some people didn't. You know, I'm all for opinions, and I'm all for us agreeing and disagreeing, and that is why I love y'all so much, because you don't necessarily stick with what I got to say, and I'm all right with that. I'm okay with that. Actually, I'm more than okay with it. I love it, because if we were all the same, then there'd be a problem. And we open up and they're high-fiving to no compliments, and I'm all like, girl, you're gonna regret that. You're gonna want him to be complimenting you. I don't give a damn what nobody say. A lot of compliments, can be overwhelming. It is a little awkward, but you better take them now, because the more he gets comfortable with you, the more he understands you, the more it's not like pulling teeth and you guys are past the get to know you stage. The compliments will dwindle. So at least if he's giving you 20 compliments now, by the time you get to a year, he's at least still giving you 1-2 compliments a week. Child, I don't know, but what do I know, okay? I actually love that they had the conversation about their faith and their spirituality and where they are with it, because for both of them it's very important. I was shocked to find that she actually did not have a church home, but she was going to Bedside Baptist. Y'all know Bedside Baptist? I go to Bedside Baptist. So the reason I was shocked was because I would have thought that she would have had a place that she called home. But it makes it better because Greg does have a place that he calls home, where he serves on the parking lot ministry. Y'all know the parking lot ministry? That is a hard job. It takes a certain kind of temperament to work in the parking lot ministry, okay? Because even the saints be having bad attitudes, be cursing each other out in the parking lot. Y'all could act like you don't know about it if you want to. Being a believer does not mean that I am without sin. Anyway, and I say that it's good because that way, when they go back, she can go to his church with him, because they both want to fellowship and worship and grow together in Christ. And so if I have my own church and you have your own church, now as your wife, I'm going to try and go to yours. But if I don't like it, I want you to come to mine, and we need to find a happy ground, leave there, or find a new one. At least they can start off with her attending his church, okay? I was glad that there was something that she appreciated about him. You know, I was really also glad that they showed us that little insight on when they were back at the hotel in Charlotte, and they had the matching suits and they started dancing. You know what I'm saying? Because she was like, we're the same. We're the same. And it scares me because we're the same. And I really thought that was cute, and it showed a lot more of their personality. And I really, I think they inserted it in the right place. But I'd like to see more of that from them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see the awkwardness and the reserved, shy, controlling portions of them. I want to see the fun parts of them, and that seemed like it was fun. That they showed that they were comfortable with one another. So Greg had asked about the ladies when they got together, and she was like, there's no dirt, no tea. So, you know, makes it right that Lizzie was like, I don't want to tell, because they only looking for gossip. But they did talk about how Iris and Keith handled their, you know, what they've implemented, and they've decided that, you know what, that's not good for us. It's not going to work for us. I'd rather talk about it right then and there, not wait 2 days, not wait till later on, but talk about it and address it immediately, because it'll feel like, well, what are you talking about? Because I'm in agreement. It could go both ways. If you can keep a level head when you see something you don't like and discuss it right on, great. But if you can't, it's something that you do have to wait and put off till later. At least that's how I see it. If you guys think differently, do it down below in the comments. So the last night in Antigua, they have a romantic dinner. And they start talking about living arrangements. Deanna wants to know, you know, where he lives and if he owns his own home. And honey, he shocked the shit out of her with, yes, I own my own home. I got it 3-4 years ago. I built it from the ground up. Honey, that tells you something about him. I built my house from the ground up. It is 4 bedrooms. She's all like, oh, I own a townhouse. And she was like, why do you need so many bedrooms? And he was like, well, I guess I was waiting for you. Hold on now. You know, my mind, the way my mind working. Hold on a second. So they started talking about Deanna is good with leaving her house. That there is no real attachment. She's willing to sell it and move in with him. I'm against that too. I feel like, I mean, I know he's got a great place. I feel like, but it's his place. I feel like you both need to move out of there and into somewhere that is a shared space that you both acquire together. Nobody gets to say, it's my house. Even though that's something you shouldn't do in marriage, people do it all the time. Y'all can act like they don't. Get out my house. It's my house. You moved in here with me. I am a culprit of that in my marriage. So that's probably why I'm adamant about not moving in with someone else, or them not moving in with me, even though now I'm all like, maybe they can, you know, shit. I don't know. Anyway, but acquiring a place together. Greg asked if she had ever lived with anyone, and she was like, no, just roommates. And so this is when the shit hits the fan, and she finds out that he had a fiance. I'm finna put this together for you real quick. And that they were together for 4 years, and that they had been separated. I mean, that he had been alone for 2 years, and that it was a toxic relationship. He owned up to what he did, which was he was a little insecure and controlling. And he said he has worked through those issues, that he, you know, had went and saw a therapist and has worked through those and understands where he is now. And so he said to her, you know, it's a good thing because that means God had you for me. Now, I like that, and she liked it too. But here's the kicker. He's been in that house for 4 years. He got it built 4 years ago. He was in a relationship with the girl 2 years prior. So the first 2 years, that house was for him and his fiance. See how my mind worked? That's probably why I'm by myself. I overthink that shit. But he probably built that house for him and his fiance. She might not have lived there. We don't know. But, I mean, that's something that I had to consider. Like, if y'all didn't think about it, I'm sure you're thinking about it now. Greg says, you know, honeymooning is not a phase, but actually a mindset. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that he's optimistic, that it's a mindset, that we are always going to be getting to know each other, loving on each other, being romantic, being friends, having a good time, working through our difficulties, talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that about Greg. Greg seems like a good spirit. And one of our Ray of Sunshines, a new one here, commented for last episode that she knows Greg, that she went to school with him, college with him, and he's a nice guy. I always like when people come through with some real tea. You know what I'm talking about? Like, come through. He seems like he's a nice guy. So let's talk my favorite, because they didn't really have much, Chris and Iris. When we see them, they go sailing. He's like, she's great to vacation with. I've had a good time with her. I actually like her a lot. He could see himself falling for her. No, I'm sorry. He says he's got feelings for Iris, which means a lot. You know, I like her. I like her. It's been 5 days. I like her. On the boat, Keith was playing around like he's gonna flip off the boat while it's going fast, and she's all like, don't do that. And he says, you're sounding like you're my mother. Ladies, listen, that is a thing for men that is also known as nagging. I know it was really quick, but in their minds, they think we are trying to tell them something versus our nurturing self being safe. And that is all she was doing. I didn't get the mother vibe, but that is what came out of his mouth. So, you know, it's all like, don't tell me what to do. I want to do what I want to do. You acting like you my mama telling me not to flip off the boat. And I thought to myself, Keith, That ain't gonna work good in this relationship, because she's really a nurturer. She really wants to make sure you're happy and you're safe, and that's going to come up again and again and again. So they're going to end up having something I feel like they're going to have to work through. I see that there's some anxiety from Iris about reality when they leave the honeymoon and they go back to Charlotte and they have to start their lives together. So on their last night, you see Keith, he says something like, he feels like their honeymoon, they've built a great foundation, and a great foundation for their future, and recognizes that it's going to be a huge transition for the both of them. Now, I don't know which one of them said it, but they said, we got along well here, lived together well here, so we should be fine when we get back home. Let me tell you something. Here we go, because they all seem to have those same unrealistic expectations. Living with somebody every day, in the space together every day, is different than vacation. Vacation is fun. You can live out your suitcases if you want to. You don't have to put your shit in your drawers, but a lot of people do, especially if they're going to be there for 5 days. I'm just saying, it's different. The way people chew, the way people sleep, how they keep house, if they wash dishes, how they clean up after themselves. All of that, what time of day they come in, how often they check in, if you want them to check in. All of that shit is huge, plays a huge part. Now, I want to talk about during, both of them had very great insight. Okay, when the ladies were hanging out, I feel like Iris told Deanna correctly, like, girl, enjoy those compliments, because they're gonna go away. You're gonna wish you had them. But in that next breath, and Deanna was like, I'm an introvert, she's an extrovert, she wouldn't understand. I don't like all that attention. I'm not used to it. She's used to the center of attention. And when she said that, that made perfectly good sense. And then, of course, I had to be reminded that she has not been in a relationship for 10 years. So her thought process about some stuff is going to be a little warped. She's going to have idealistic thoughts of how things are supposed to go versus how they really go. But I really feel like their relationship is probably going to be the most successful, because they're going slow, because they are a lot alike. I really feel like they might be the most successful in their relationship, but we'll see, because I'm teetering now. I'm not sure about them, but they might have the most successful relationship because they have an understanding of one another. At least that's what it feels like now, and I could be wrong. Okay, when they were hanging out, the fellas were playing miniature golf. Matt had decided to tell them about the possibility of him taking a contract overseas if his mobile detailing business did not work out well. But he had not spoken to Amber about it. And Keith was like, that's weird. You talking about you guys have an open, honest relationship, but that ain't something that you talked about yet. That's a big deal. That needs to come up and be addressed. I had totally agreed. But I also felt like in due time, they still had a couple days left, but that was a big thing that needed to be discussed, okay? And we're going to see what happens when they discuss it, right? Let us talk about Matt and Amber. They go snorkeling. Amber says the most realistic thing to me. I like him a lot. I don't know if I love him. It's hard for me to, really trust people, but I like him a lot. And then Matt was like, he wanted to fill a void. That he had a void, and the reason he wanted to get married was because he wanted to fill a void. That's a red flag to me. Because you lonely, you want to get married. Right? I get you want the companionship and stuff, and maybe I just didn't like that whole void. Like something was missing. Because I should be complete before I meet you, right? I should feel like if I never meet anybody, if I never get married, I would be okay. And so for him saying he felt like he had a void, I don't know. And maybe that's because I'm in a different space in my life. He's still in his 30s, never been married, always overseas, has no children. I mean, it's one of those things that you later on wish you had known. I need to be complete, whole and complete, and meet someone else that's whole and complete, and we can come together and be whole and complete as a couple. Like having a void or trying to fill a void, to me, feels like a disaster. But maybe I'm reading that wrong. And if I am, I'm sure y'all gonna tell me about myself. Okay, so on the last night, they have a romantic dinner. These damn braces. They have a romantic dinner. They discuss the worries about living with one another. And I really appreciated that from Matt. When he was like, do you think you'll get tired of me or annoyed or not want me in your space? Like, that's a thing. That's a thing. And anybody who thinks that's not a thing is foolish, because it's a thing. Okay? Coming after being on your own for so long, and now I'm coming and there's somebody there. I'm speaking from my own life experience. I used to be tired and annoyed and irritated because my husband wanted to be around me all the time. Like, I would come home and I would say to him, I just need 15 minutes. I've been on the road for, an hour. And then I was at work all day. Like, let me wind down. Let me have this time to myself. Let me take my shoes off and stuff. But he would be right there. I did get tired of him being there. I'm going to just be honest. I used to be like, I hope he's not home when I get home. I used to be the girl that would sit in the driveway like, fuck. To the point where he would call and be like, I thought I heard you coming in. Child, it's a thing. It's a thing, and I'm glad that he brought it up, because it's something that every couple needs to be mindful of, especially two independent people that lived alone and are coming together as one. You have definitely need to be mindful of that. So then he brings up the hypothetical question. If my mobile detail business does not get off the ground, and my agent calls me and gives me a contract for 7 to 10 months overseas, how do you feel about that? She says it's a deal breaker, that a marriage can't work like that. He seems to agree. So now Little Miss Amber says, and the way I read it when she said it was, because I don't want you gone, and until your mobile detailing business gets up and off the ground, I make enough to support the both of us. I make $80,000 a year. That's not enough, okay? It's not enough. It's not. It's a good chunk of money, but it's not enough. Child, anyway. And so she said, but I'm willing to support us until you can get the business off ground. Now, two things. I thought that was what you do as a supportive wife, right? That's also what you do once you've been in a relationship with someone and know that they are also going to bring that kind of fervent support to you. That they aren't going to use you. Right? She was quick to volunteer that up, which is something you should do in a marriage. But you just met this man, so I wanted her to pull up, like, slow down, they don't love you like I love you. Because you remember her twin sister had said in one of the first episodes that she had given her whole check to her boyfriend every 2 weeks. So this is her thing. Like, she also said she is a giver, right? And givers have to be careful because there are users, there are takers. And so I really want her to be mindful. Like, I know that's your husband and everything, but bitch, you only known him 5 days. And when he starts showing himself and proving that he is worthy of that kind of devotion and support, give it to him. The fella's gonna be mad. They might be mad. I think it's good, but I think after she knows who she's dealing with. Well, we see a little later that they are quiet. There's some awkwardness. They're laying in the bed. And we find out that after the romantic dinner after the romantic dinner on the way back to the hotel, that Matt expressed that he was offended at the fact that she would want to provide support and help him out. Now, what I did like was that he was not going to allow that awkward silence, the uncomfortableness to stay and linger in the room, that he wanted to address it, that now is a good time, let's talk about it. She was vulnerable. She started crying because she was like, it was not my intent to hurt your feelings. I'm all in. I'm just saying that if we needed it, I can support you. And he was like, well, I want you to know that I don't need your support right now. That I don't want you to think that I'm coming into this and I need your support. She was just saying I was really willing to help. And so I was like, ding, 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 we have a winner. He does not want to use her. He wants to carry his own weight. And my thing is, I don't like the language of, I want to be able to support myself. Okay, well, it's a household now, so everything you guys have does contribute to the household. And maybe it's just me and I'm old school, because I would have preferred him to say, I want to be able to support my family and bring something to contribute to my family. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe you guys feel differently about it. But I do like that they took the time to talk, and it was healthy conflict resolution. Like, let's deal with this now so that this does not fester and ruin what we have for our future. Right? Okay, so that ends the episode 9, right? No, I'm sorry, episode 5. Episode 9. Tell me, what do you think? Do you think Deanna and Greg are making real progress? I'm wondering if he gonna ever get some. I'm wondering that about Keith and Iris too. We didn't see a lot of them this episode, but I'm wondering if they're going to move into more intimacy. You do see Greg and Deanna always doing that little kiss. I'm all like, that ain't even a real kiss. Open up, part your lips a little bit. You ain't gotta get no tongue yet, but make it a little moist. Don't make it dry like that. Keith and Iris kiss better than y'all. What do you think about Matt and Amber? I think that they are on the right track, that it seems to be healthy. I'm really wondering which one of these couples, if not all of them, are going to make it. I'm concerned about the toxic relationship between the fireworks and the very reserved, calm, cool, collected Jamie, Lizzie and Jamie. With our luck, they will be the only ones that make it. Anyway, do you have predictions? Maybe it's too soon to find out. They did say 8 weeks. We are only on episode 5, so let's keep an eye out. Maybe next week we can start coming in with our predictions of who we think are going to stay and who's gonna go. And maybe I'll start that off in the beginning of the episodes. Who knows? I am your girl, Talisa Rae. Thank you so much for watching my review of Married at First Sight, season number 9, episode number 5, Paradise Lost. If it's your first time visiting my channel, you should be clicking the subscribe button because you want to be a ray of sunshine. You're also clicking the notification bell because you specifically want to come here and watch my Married at First Sight review. So go ahead and click it. You can personalize it specifically for this. I'll understand. And for me, because you like me and I'll know it's real, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Hugs and kisses and lots of love. I'll catch you on the next video.